Welcome to Gospel Tangents. I'm Bryndis Roberts.
Kate Kelly was the founder of the Ordain Women movement until her excommunication in 2014. What happened to leadership after that? We'll talk about that with Bryndis Roberts and find out she now plays a major role in that organization. Check out our conversation. So tell us a little bit more. So you started in Ordain Women. This is about 2015, I believe?
2014.
2014, okay. And so how did you go from, hey, I've just got my profile on the web page to now you're in charge?
Probably because if I'm going to do something, I just believe in jumping in with both feet. And so I put up a profile maybe in September 2014. I was invited to join the executive board in December 2014. I helped with a number of projects. And then as time rolled on and we needed to elect a chair-elect, I was nominated as chair-elect and served for a year as chair-elect, and then moved into the position of chair of the executive board.
Who was the previous chair?
The previous chair, her name was Deborah Jensen.
Deborah Jensen. Okay, so it wasn't Kate Kelly.
No, we had not really, the group had not really formally organized with there was a board in a loose sense of the word, but in terms of having bylaws and all of that, we'd not organized to that extent yet.
Okay, because I know that Kate Kelly was the face of the organization for a long time.
Very much so.
And so she was still a member for that second demonstration. I don't know what the right word is for that.
Well, we call it an action. Second priesthood.
Second action. Yeah. Thank you. So
she was excommunicated after that.
Oh, it was right after that.
Yes.
That right? How did you react to that?
Oh, I was one of the people. I guess I prayed till the very last minute, till the word came down that the church would not do that, that the church would be open enough and forgiving enough to see that what we were doing was not attacking the church, but was urging the institutional church, urging church leaders to take our concerns, to take our wishes, to take our desires to God, to perhaps have a dialogue with us about, to consider the things that we were saying.
Okay. So were you nervous about, after Kate was excommunicated, what's going to happen to you?
I don't know that I was nervous. I certainly, Kate's excommunication certainly made me understand that the church was going to, I guess, in effect, play hardball. But I felt that what I was doing was divinely inspired. And when one is on a path where one feels that one is being directed by God, I don't know that you can just stop because you're concerned about what may happen.
So you just press forward.
Yes.
Wow. Were other people nervous, concerned?
I mean, I don't want to speak for other people. I think certainly people who were still very active in the church, maybe had some concerns about their temporal recommends. We actually had one board member whose stake president put her in the position of she had to either step down from the board or lose her temporal recommend, and after much agonizing, she opted to stepped down from the board because she had family members who had upcoming events, weddings, whatever, and the loss of that temple recommend would mean that she could not participate in those events. And so it's like I was saying today, each one of us has to figure out how we continue to participate in the effort to change things within the church. And some of us do that from inside. Some of us, we each do it differently.
Okay. So 2015 is when Kate was excommunicated. Is that right?
No, I thought Kate was excommunicated in 2014.
Okay, 2014. You would know better than I. So 2014, and then how long was it until you became chairman-elect?
Probably sometime in 2015.
Okay, so this was pretty soon, right after.
Well, I mean, it was a year or so, that.
Okay. So, and you didn't feel like you were going to be a target of church discipline after that? Or leading up to that?
I guess I knew it was a possibility, but it did not deter me from doing what I was doing.
Okay. So, can you talk about a little bit more of what's happened since 2015?
Well, are you talking about from the standpoint of Ordain Women or me personally? What are you asking?
Either way.
Okay.
You pick.
Well, we have continued, we being Ordain Women, we've continued to do a number of actions. One of the things that we did, we collected letters and postcards from men and women, primarily women, about how we wish to stand as a witness at all time and all places, how we wanted to be witnesses in these situations, and
such as baptism,
such as sealings, how women wanted to participate in the baby blessings. That I don't think most men fully appreciate or understand the pain that women feel at not being part of the circle when the baby is blessed.
Well, let me throw this out at you, because I have a couple of sisters, and in fact, one of them has said flat out, I don't want the priesthood. I don't want any part of that. And I do know that there are plenty of women that would like to participate in a baby blessing. But I think there are also a large number of women that would just give that to my husband and he can take care of it. I don't want any part of that.
And to those sisters, I say, well, if you don't want it, no one is going to force you to have it. One of the things I am not sure. Well, not that I'm not sure. The fact that a young man automatically becomes a priest at age 12, and I guess now it's the year you're gonna.
The priest would be 16, but
deacon. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
okay,
deacon at 12.
Okay. Well, the Aaronic priesthood then.
Right.
Okay, so, and now it's the year you're going to turn 12. I guess it's been. I'm not sure that making anyone automatically part of something is necessarily a good idea, because God gives us all different gifts, and all of us may not have the gift that we need to do those particular functions. So to my sisters who say they don't want the priesthood, I say I would not force that upon you, but I would not force that upon anybody. I mean, it would be more of a process of evaluating the spiritual development, evaluating where a person was in his or her individual growth, to see if they were ready to discharge this particular responsibility.
Okay. So are you familiar with the history of why we ordain 12-year-old boys to the priesthood?
I have heard it. I don't know that I necessarily think that answers all of my questions.
Okay. because I talked with Greg Prince. He's actually written a book on this. And one of the things was the brethren were concerned because originally, especially if you go to the Doctrine and Covenants, the deacon is to watch over the church, and you're like, does a 12-year-old really watch over the church?
Right.
Because they were adults, and so one of the things that the early in the 1900s, they were finding that boys were falling away from the church, and so part of this automatic ordination was to keep them active, and so while I understand your point that you don't think it should be automatic, and to some degree I would agree with you, I do think that there are some, especially in the leadership, that would say, well, if we don't automatically ordain them, they're going to fall away.
Well, but did you were not there yesterday at the conference to hear
I wasn't.
Jana Reese talk about her research findings, and the falling away of young women is beginning to approach the level of the falling away, or is getting closer and closer to the level of falling away among young men. We are losing young women, and I think. And I really take offense almost at this notion that women are naturally presumed to be more spiritual, that we somehow do not need the additional classes, the additional learning, all of the additional things that are afforded as part of becoming a deacon and progressing through that women somehow don't need that we sort of are born with it, or I guess it descends down on us automatically. I very much take issue with that, and I think that the church is seeing is beginning to reap some of the results of that kind of thinking, that we don't have to worry about the girls, or we don't have to worry about the women. I just think that's a fallacy. So saying that we need to ordain 12-year-old boys because they may fall away, I react to that the same way I react to the notion that we need to put all our focus on bringing men into the church so that we can have more members of the priesthood, and certainly them progressing to the level of the Melchizedek priesthood, because then that will bring their families. It's like, do women not have agency? Do we not make our decisions ourselves? Are we just sort of led blindly by what the males in our family do?
Yeah, I think you lay out a great case there. So, and maybe that I do have Jana on my list of people to talk to, by the way, but she was too busy this week, so it was a bummer. But do you think that if the brethren see enough women falling away, that they may say, well, geez, we've got to stem this tide. Maybe we can ordain. Deaconesses are in the Bible,
right?
And so maybe we can start ordaining women. Do you think that's what it will take? Is a falling away of women in the church for the brethren to say, well, maybe we should allow women to be ordained?
I can't even pretend to be in the minds of our church leaders. I would hope that they would start looking at those things. I think that since groups like Ordain Women have been advocating for change, that the church has made some changes. Some people would argue that they are very minor changes, but the church has made some changes. And though I would imagine that the brethren or that the church leadership would not take too kindly to the notion of anyone saying that those changes were brought about because of things that Ordained Women did, or things that the women in Let Women Pray did, or the things that the women in Wear Pants to Church did. You can see, there's kind of a cause and effect. You saw all of the women wear pants to church. You saw women begin to wear pants to church. Then you see the change, and church women who are church employees are allowed to wear pants to work. You saw women write letters and asking that women be allowed to pray in General Conference. You saw a woman being allowed to pray. It started with a white woman was the first woman that was allowed to pray, and then there was a black woman who prayed in General Conference. So, although I think church leaders would say we didn't do those things because of what you said or your concerns that this is all coming from the Lord, to me that kind of ignores the way, at least I understand a good bit of church history, that things always sort of bubbled up from the bottom in terms of concerns about this and questions about this, and then the church leadership looked at those questions or looked at those concerns or looked at those ideas and then took them to the Lord, and then many of them were implemented.
Very interesting. So, and I've often said, well, if we don't believe that, and I don't know if agitation is the right word, causes revelation, I always point to Emma Smith and the word of wisdom.
Right.
She's like, Joseph, what's going on here?
Right.
So, you bring up some excellent points. I hope you enjoyed our conversation with Bryndis Roberts. In our next conversation, we'll talk about Kate Kelly's public actions. Was she too confrontational?
I don't accept that we were ever confrontational. I mean,
and I agree with you, but can you see that the brethren felt that Kate especially was confrontational?
I can't speak to what the brethren felt, okay? Certainly we have not had since April of 2014 an in-person action that had the amount of participation that the first two priesthood actions had. Part of that, I think there are a lot of reasons for that.
I hope you enjoyed that short clip from our next interview. If you'd like to hear the entire interview uncut, please go to our patreon.com/gospeltangents and subscribe for just $5 a month. If you'd like a transcript of this, please click the yellow subscribe button at gospeltangents.com, and I'll send you this and all future transcripts. Also, if you'd like a paperback like we've got here, those are available at our website at amazon.com. Just do a search for Gospel Tangents. Please get all updates at our Facebook page at facebook.com/gospeltangents. We're also on Twitter at Gospel Tangents. You can also get transcripts individually at our website, gospeltangents.com/shop. Finally, make sure that you subscribe on our Apple Podcast page. Just do a quick search for Gospel Tangents there and give us a 5-star review while you're at it. Thanks again for listening. Your support helps create more Mormon history classes and podcasts such as this, and so I really appreciate you listening. Please share with your friends. Click here to subscribe, here for a transcript, and over here you'll see some more of our great videos. Thanks again.